Hello, so I wanted to hop online and share some keynotes from today's Road to CEO Masterclass, which was hosted by Yimpini Mabunda as well as the Take Charge team, and it was epic. If you were not in the room, please make sure that you are at the next masterclass. Guys, it was absolutely mind-blowing, and today I'm going to share 6 key lessons or key takeaways that I took away from the session. I'll share 3 specifically from the session that Yimpini held, where he spoke about how did he become CEO, what are the skill sets that got him there. But I won't give you all that detail. I'm only going to share 3 so that you at the next masterclass. And then I'll also share 4 key nuggets actually. So I'm going to share 7 in total. 4 key nuggets from the CEO panel that we had. We had George, we had Angela, we had Intab Singh, as well as Thabo. And I'll share each from each of their nuggets, 1 key lesson. So from Yimpini, 3 key things. He really spoke about role modeling, which was something that stood out for me. So really around who do you aspire to be, right? So when you want to be CEO, there's currently someone that's sitting in that position, right? So if we take Mary from FNB, right? Why was Mary selected? What skill sets does she have? What character traits? What behaviors were the board looking for when they made that appointment for Mary to be CEO of FNB? We have Puti, who's CEO of Naspers, right? So in every position of CEO, someone currently occupies it. So you need to understand who occupies it, what skill sets do they have, what's the characteristics that they bring, how are they constantly delivering results, and then working it backwards, right? Do they have an MBA? Do they not have an MBA? Did they study in Harvard? Did they not study in Harvard? And obviously, the path to being CEO is different for everyone, but it helps you to really work your way backwards in terms of mapping out your career trajectory. And then another thing that he said that absolutely stuck out for me was that there is no substitute for the numbers. Whether you have the financial acumen or not, you have to learn. Once you get to that C-suite level, you have to understand the numbers, right? Because you'll be communicating with the press, you'll be communicating with your team, and so you need to know what are you communicating about. You need to understand the balance sheet and the P&L statement and so forth. So absolutely important. And then just a last point from Yimpini's presentation was around what drives you and what is your purpose. I think, we all say we want to be CEO, but it's really, really a tough job, guys. The mental toughness required to occupy that very, very hot seat is it's something else. So you really need to know and dig deep and understand yourself and understand why it is that you want to occupy that seat, why it is that you want to occupy that space. And so that when you get there, right, you have staying power because you understand that it's not just the flashiness of it that made you want to get there. There's something else that's sustaining you and will keep you anchored throughout the journey. And then I have my notes on what the CEO panel discussed. So something that really, really stood out for me is Angela, the CEO of Holla, just spoke around there's a difference between leading yourself and leading others. And I think when we're on our journey towards the C-suite, it's really around leading yourself. How do you show up, your self-discipline, consistently delivering results, and so forth. But once you get there, right, everyone's like technically skilled. Everyone has the technical acumen. And so what stands out is how you lead others, how you inspire greatness in other people, how you communicate with other people, right? How you influence other people. So now it's not just about self, it's about others. And something that Angela also said that really stood out for me is really around integrity, right? What reputation are you building? Because if you're sleeping around, if you're drinking all the time, those things catch up with you. Because when you're at that level, you're not just representing yourself, but you're also representing the organization. So it's also important that we are conscious of what we're putting out in social media, that we're conscious of the lifestyles that we live, because there's no separating the two, right? I know people will be like, that's my life. It's my personal life. There's a difference between my personal life and my public life. Once you get to that level, there is no difference. Who you are in personal is who you'll show up to be in public, and that's just it. So reputation, integrity, absolutely a non-negotiable. And then I also liked what Thabo spoke about, succeeding versus being successful, and I absolutely love this point because we always like, I want to be successful, I want to be successful. When you say that, it's almost like there's a destination, and the headline that he actually gave is when you rest, you rust. And I absolutely love that because yes, we're succeeding in our journey towards the top, but even when you get to the top, You need to understand that I'm succeeding, so that there's more, right? There's more to attain, there's more potential to get to. As we all know, you never fully maximize your potential, but it's an aspirational thing that you continuously push yourself, because if you feel like success is a destination, then once you get there, then what, right? And that's something that Errol actually mentioned in the executive panel around the mentors and the coaches and the executive search and what recruiters look for in CEOs. He said it's also important that once you get that top job, you need to know what's next, because CEOs last around about 5 years, right? So once you get CEO of Nestle, or CEO of Nedbank, I mean, Mike Brown lasted 15 years, but generally the turnover's around 5 years. And so you need to start thinking around, if I'm here for 5 years, am I going to move to another company to be CEO there, or am I now looking at sitting on boards, chairman? So have a plan. Essentially what they're saying is that it doesn't end at the CEO level. Understand that you are succeeding and you're not yet successful, not even yet. Just stop using the word successful. Say I'm succeeding, because that means there's a continuation of where you're going. And then another point that Ntabiseng made that I absolutely love was really around the value people, and this also speaks to the communication piece, because when you're in that position, you're spending a lot of time with people, you're spending a lot of time influencing, inspiring, mentoring, coaching, and so you need to have a love for people. If you are just a technical person, you want to do your job, get your job done and move on, then perhaps that C-suite is not for you, because you really spend a lot of time with people, you really spend a lot of time influencing, spend a lot of time, especially like if your company is in the media a lot, you spend a lot of time with press, influencing them, making sure that headline is the right headline, you know. So that was also really important to know, that you have to really value people, care for people, want the best for people, and see them really succeed in their specific career trajectory. And then my favorite quote of the day, and I left it for last, was really from George Mendes, who's the CEO of Cell C. And so he said, "You are always on display." And I absolutely love this, because I think as people, you want to show up when it's the promotion, you want to show up when there's a vacancy, but you have to consistently deliver results. And that was his point. You are always on display. You can't show up now when they're looking for someone and then say, here's my hand. When they're looking for someone, your name should already have been mentioned in the room, because you have consistently been showing up, right? And he also made the point around when you make a commitment, you show up, you never disappoint. And that's also part of being you on display. So those are the key lessons. And in Yimpini's book, he really talks about how he was able to move and become CEO by consistently delivering great results. And that's what stood out for me with all of the different panels we had for today, even the presentation that Yimpini had. Everyone consistently talked about delivering consistent results. So being a CEO is not a one-time show, because sometimes what you're going to get is that the peer that you managed the plant with, the mining plant with, or was plant supervisor with 10 years ago, is in that decision-making matrix, appointment tree of whether to decide whether you are going to be the next CEO of the specific company. So regardless, throughout your journey, guys, and I mean, being a CEO can take 10 years, can take 15 years, and so throughout your journey, you can't just show up in the last 5 years, because then it's going to take you longer, if that makes sense. You have to constantly show up throughout your career, because you never know when the dots will connect. And I love what Steve Jobs says is, you can only connect the dots looking back. So guys, see you at the next masterclass. Today's event was absolutely mind-blowing. Thank you.